An advocacy group called Trans Safe Action Fund is airing a pro-transgender advertisement on conservative networks. And when I say conservative networks, I'm talking Fox and even Newsmax. Now, they're hoping to change the minds of not just the anti-trans voters in the country, but also anti-trans politicians who are crafting discriminatory legislation against them. And so let's take a sneak peek at the advertisement, and then we'll tell you more about what the group's strategy is.
This is us laughing. It's 2023. Here's the food we like and the seconds we didn't need. This is our home. And here's us at work. And this is what freedom feels like. What beauty looks like. What love is. This is just us.
So just to give you a little more information about why they're doing this and how they feel that it might work, the Trans Safe Action Fund's ad maker, Democratic political consultant Bill Hires, says the point of the campaign is to show to Republicans that trans people are just normal humans that just want to go about their daily lives, want to be left alone, want to just be productive members of society, and that there's no reason to go out of your way to pick on them. Hires also told Rolling Stone that his own brother is one of the transgender people who are featured in the ad. He says, quote, "My most boring white guy relationship is with my brother. He talks football. We talk about yard work. We talk about his dog. He's married, has a couple of stepkids. I don't really follow football much anymore, but I have to keep up with my brother. That's what he wants to do. That's his life. And so that's what we're kind of highlighting." So this strategy reminds me, Cenk, of what we saw from the LGBT community in the lead up to the Supreme Court overturning, marriage bans for gay couples. And I think that tactic worked because it helped to just absolutely demolish the otherization of gay couples in America. It helped Americans who, might have had questions, maybe were not so informed about the situation. It helped them understand like the humanity of gay couples and see them as fellow Americans. So I think that strategy is really smart. Look, do I think that most Republicans just hate trans people for being trans people? I actually don't think that's the case. I think that usually the issue of trans hate comes up when it comes to some of the more contentious issues, whether it be transgender people in the sports teams that they identify with, or in the locker rooms that they identify with. These are the issues that tend to lead to the controversy. And yes, there are definitely some on the right who like to dehumanize transgender people, which I'm obviously not in favor of. And I think maybe these types of ad campaigns can help to reverse a little bit of that. But I do think it would be helpful to have open and honest conversations about some of the contentious issues in good faith and find solutions that are good for both sides, right? Good for some of the women who might be concerned about transgender athletes in sports. I think that there is a way to include people, to be inclusive, but also fair to women. It's just that the conversations tend to devolve and people start throwing accusations around when it's not necessarily, an anti-trans conversation. It's just a conversation of finding better solutions so everyone is satisfied and happy.
Yeah, so first of all, I think this ad is great. I love this ad. Pausing here to deliver some honest truth as we do in our news coverage as well. TYT is facing challenges, guys, as the entire industry is. You know who could make the difference? You. If you hit the join button below, it's gonna make all the difference and keep us in business. We appreciate you, thank you. What it's doing is it's leaning into the polling that I've been talking about for a long time, which is that 2/3 of the country is in favor of trans rights, trans equality, and housing, employment, you name it. They believe that trans people should have the same exact rights. That's beautiful, that's great. Let's lean into that. That's exactly what this ad does. Because guys, everybody on the left has the same end goal, which is equality for trans people. We want to get rid of all these bills that are against the trans community and all these different red states that have unfortunately passed already, right? So then the question is how to get there. And unfortunately, some on the left don't understand this idea of the attacking on your moral high ground. Okay, so what does that mean? It doesn't actually mean a moral high ground. I'll give you an example that the Republicans do, so you can begin to understand the concept. So the reason why they always go back to flag burning every 10 years or so is because it forces us to say, well, it is freedom of speech to burn a flag. I don't necessarily like it. I definitely don't like it, but of course someone has a right to do that as an American, and that's actually the pro-Constitution side. But once we do that, the average person is hearing the left likes to burn flags and the right likes to protect the American flag. That's why it's such a good trick. And it sucks that they do that trick, but they're smart to do that, right? So on this issue of trans rights, what the Republicans did was they tried to find different ways to get Americans to hate trans people. So first they said, haha, they're trans. Let's try to ban them from the military, which Trump tried to do and did. Let's ban them from the bathrooms. Let's ban them from here and there. And none of that worked. It did not work at all. And they kept going and going and going until they got to an extreme position of, hey, trans women competing in professional, and they say also high school sports. Yeah, like there was one example of a trans woman who lifted 200 pounds more overall in the whole competition than any of the biological women. I don't know if I'm saying the right words here, etc. And that's another problem, guys. When you could go tear someone's head off if they say gender terms slightly wrong, which almost all Americans do because they're not familiar with the terms, right? You're instead of leaning into the 2/3 that agree with you and that want to protect your rights, you're alienating those people by saying, because they look at it and they go, well, she lifted 200 pounds more. I want her to have every right in the world, except this doesn't look fair. That's why the Republicans pick that, so they can get you to lean into that wrong end of the fight, the extreme end of the fight, so they can go, aha, trans people, they don't want equal rights. They want to take away the rights of your poor high school girls who are trying to compete, but they can't compete against these trans women, etc. And when you use extreme language, I don't want to trigger people, right? Oh, some activists online are so easy to trigger. Here, I'll do it. You ready?
No, don't just Cenk, please.
No, I'm gonna do it. So if you say birthing person instead of woman, everybody in America thinks you're cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, okay? And you're leaning against the 2/3 instead of in favor of the 2/3 who want to give you equal rights. Let them, right? So I love this campaign. I think that's exactly right. This is the correct political strategy to make sure that they don't take away rights of trans Americans. Thanks for watching The Young Turks, we really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR, so those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.